Right, okay. Leo, the Lion, July 23rd to August 22nd. Traditional Leo traits include generous and warm-hearted. Yes, a few Leo friends of mine have been very generous and warm-hearted. One of my friends, who's a Leo, is very complimentary towards me, is very complimentary towards other people. He might get a bit sidetracked upon his own ego thinking, like most Leos do have a lot of ego problems. It's not necessarily saying it in a bad way, but it is a big thing about Leos and having ego. But anyway, I'll cover that later. They're creative and enthusiastic. A lot of Leos that I know have a lot of physical creativity. One of my Leo friends is a very, very good free runner and an excellent break dancer. I can tell you, he amazes me to no end. While as another Leo friend of mine has got a very, very good art in the way of magic, which is very creative, so yeah. They're also broad-minded and expansive, so yeah, they think on a big macro perspective. They think of things as a whole rather than in detail, but take it all into account and bring it into the warm embrace they have. Well, having a big mind thought track allows you to get to more deeper levels of things, I guess. You can think about the world as one big wholeness, which is pretty good. Another traditional trait they have is they're faithful and loving. Now, being honest about that, I would say it depends upon the Leo itself. One of my friends who's Leo, he wasn't very faithful once. He cheated on someone who he was going out with, and right now he's going between women, and it's really quite contradictory to that. But a lot of other Leos that I know, they are very faithful and they are very loving, and they show their affection friendship wise and romance wise, which is really, really good. On the dark side of things, they are pompous and patronising. It can be a really, really obvious thing. As soon as you meet a Leo, they really, really do patronise you. But don't take it to offence or anything, because they mean well. There may be part of their ego again, which I will get to at one point, so don't worry. They can be bossy and interfering. Yes, they do like to take control of things because it's the whole king of the jungle thing. Can't really blame them though, because it is quite fun to be bossy and it is quite fun to interfere into other people's business, but it can land you in a lot of trouble. Another dark side is dogmatic and intolerant. They like to believe what they believe and take control of it, but I would have to say that that's not true, because one of my friends who is a Leo is very open-minded and he'll take anything into account, he'll think about it and try it out, which is really, really quite admirable, I'd say. Okay then. So, what do Leos like? Well, they like their ego. This is my favourite part, ego. Everyone has ego, you can't say you don't, it's all a part of us. But with Leo, they seem really associated with ego. They like to feel powerful, they like to feel on top of things, they like to be told that they're amazing, and they like to tell themselves that they're amazing. One of my friends who is a Leo, he's always showing off in front of the women. He's like, oh, look at this, and he'll do a run up the wall and he'll backflip. Now, how many people do you see doing that? I mean, yes, it is good because it's being individualistic, but he's doing it on an ego basis and he'll deny it. It doesn't matter what you say, he will always deny it. Another friend of mine that's a Leo, I'm talking to him on a spiritual level, and at one point he found himself wanting to be incredibly powerful and everything. He saw other people as lower down compared to him, but he found his way out of it once he realised that he was acting just like them. It's a long story and probably needs a bit more detail, but that's the basic outline. Leos have ego, but they can conquer it, which is an amazing thing because it shows they have a lot of power. Another thing they like children. I don't know about that, to be honest, but a lot of Leos that I know are very, very caring towards children. One of these people that I met once, who was an adult, he was a Leo, and he really, really loved children. He would play games with them, he would entertain them, he would laugh with them. But personally, my dad's a Leo, and he's very selfish, to be honest. He's like thinking of himself. When it came to children, he was a child himself in some ways. He liked to be with them rather than for them, if you get me. Okay, another thing they like, drama. If it's exciting in a dramatic sense, they will love it. They love the acts, they love the whole big let's do this type of thing, let's go and oh no, trouble. It's something that makes them strive, it makes them determined. Things they dislike, doing things safely. Well, as I told you before about the guy who does run up wall backflip, never safe. He's always jumping about, doing things that could probably land him in hospital or even dead. But as a professional, he knows what he's doing. Although he has ended up in hospital once for failing to do a jump. That was way back in secondary school. But there's some other Leos that I know that tried doing some spiritual rituals. They kind of got a bit out of hand. They didn't use protection. Always carry a condom when doing a spiritual activity, because you never know where a spirit's going to go. Sorry about that. But yeah, they don't like doing things safely. They want to do things raw and in the spirit of the moment. They also dislike ordinary day-to-day living. You have to give Leo excitement. I mean, I love excitement. Everyone loves excitement at some point. But a Leo needs it. A Leo feeds off it. So give them something to do and they'll love you. They dislike small-minded people. Think about things in a shallow sense, and like the Scorpio, as I've mentioned before, on your bike, get out in it. We're not having it. You've got to think more of the whole. Think of everything as one, and they'll be like, yeah, it's got to be big and it's got to be flashy. Another thing they don't like is penny pinching. They like to spend. If you penny pinch, then they'll be like, oh, why don't you just buy the whole caboozle? One of my Leo friends is very, very obsessed with motorbikes. He basically spent a lot of money to get a motorbike. So yeah, they love buying big things that make them feel powerful and raw. And I don't really know about a lot of other Leos, but I remember talking to one of my Leo friends about a t-shirt that he wanted, and he said, I'm going to buy that, and I was like, yeah, go for it. And he loved it. It was amazing. Another thing that Leos dislike, mean-spiritedness. Now, if you're very mean to them, they will really not like it. They will hit you with their big massive paws. It's like, they may seem big and tough on the outside, but on the inside they're emotional. As I've mentioned before, they're very loving. So you've got to look out for that part of them that's deeper, that you can feel within. But on the whole, Leos, they are like lions. They like to feel powerful, but they like to feel loved as well. And they in turn are very loving towards others. I guess it might feed their ego, but I'm not sure whether love does. Because a lot of Leos that I know that have been serious about relationships and things, they've stuck by it, apart from perhaps a few that are there's always different people, individualism and all that. But if you ever see a Leo wandering around, you'll know what they are, you'll know who they are, because they'll be big and powerful, and if you show them appreciation, then you'll know that their ego goes boom and they're like, yes. But always trust Leos in the fact that they're good friends. You can enjoy a laugh with them. But I guess it all depends upon your own taste really again. And obviously not all Leos are the same. Speak to you again, guys.